Okay, you are welcome. Let's look at what happened that made our EURUSD trade to be in a very good profit. The trade I shared, EURUSD sell, gave us a very good profit. I want to let us have a breakdown of how that was made possible. Okay, so in this chart we are on the daily time frame. Okay, as you can see, we're on the daily time frame, but I want to make an explanation of why we start from the daily time frame. I usually use two major time frame as my higher time frame, which is the weekly and then the daily. Then if I see a trade on the weekly, I go to the daily. If I see a trade on the daily, I go to the 4 hour. Okay, then that is just how I trade. This particular trade, I've made a proper breakdown from the weekly to the daily to the 4 hour and so on and so forth on my private mentorship program. You can check that out. Now let's go to the breakdown of this EURUSD. Since we are on the daily time frame, what can we observe over here? We can see that this was a previous low point, previous low. Let's mark that out, and this is a previous high. Okay, when we mark that out, what can we do? We expect price to come back into this is a low. This is another low that has been confirmed. Okay, I've explained that we can easily know how to identify this low on the chart. All right, now that we have our new low that has been confirmed, what can we do? We have to draw a Fibonacci retracement from this previous high point to this new low that has been confirmed. And when that happened, we can now bring out our tool to mark out the 0.6 Fibonacci level. Okay, let's put that there so that we can be able to remove the Fibonacci tool to make our chart to be very clean, and a 0.7 Fibonacci daily Fibonacci level, because we are on the daily time frame as our higher time frame. Now let's remove the Fibonacci tool. Our major focus on this particular lesson is to know how it was possible for me to catch this trade, all these candlestick movements, okay, using the same strategy I'll be teaching on this channel. Now let's take it that I do not have the premium subscription for TradingView, so I'm going to go along with this trade. Now let's take it that this particular candlestick 1, 2 and 3 have not played out already before, so price tap into the 0.6 Fibonacci level like we have marked out. Let's put the previous high point there, this high point, and this a low point. Now this candlestick 1, 2 and 3 have not played out. What have played out, for example, is just these candlesticks, this particular one that has tapped into the 0.6 Fibonacci level. What can we now do? This is on a daily time frame. For us to look for our entry according to all the lectures I've been making, we will now go to the corresponding lower time frame. We'll go to the 4 hour to look for our entry over there. You see, when we get to the 4 hour, this is what the 4 hour has given us. All this is what happened on the 4 hour, but according to our entry signal, we did not see any of the signal there. Then we can go further to the 1 hour time frame. Then when we go to the 1 hour time frame, we can see, first of all, this is the first signal, but it did not play out very well because it didn't give us our complete signal, where we have to have another candlestick close below the low of that week. Okay, so but you can see this is our perfect signal over here on the 1 hour time frame. This is our evening star candlestick pattern. Okay, this is our evening star candlestick pattern. Then what are we supposed to do? When we see that signal, we will then put our sell to there. Okay, we want to sell this trade, we'll put our sell. Okay, Then we can target any amount of target, maybe 1 to 3, 1 to 2. But in this trade, as you can see, we target what? Our target was this day previous low. The day previous low was our target, and this trade ought to give us 11.66 RRO. But on my own part, this is what happened. At the time I noticed this trade, because I was very busy, at the time I noticed this trade, this particular demand supply zone has already been tapped, and then price has already come down. Okay, price came down to this area. Then I noticed that when price tap into this demand zone, 1 hour supply zone, when price tap into it, it left behind another supply zone, this another 1 hour supply zone. So it was on this 1 hour supply zone I was able to enter the trade. Okay, so I entered the trade on this second supply zone. Then I put my trade there. Okay, this was just how I placed this trade, and I target the previous daily low, and this trade gave me 11.06 risk to reward. I hope you can see it. That is just how I was able to make a very good profit on this trade. Let's see the screenshot of the chart I made. So sorry, I did not see the screenshot again. Maybe I've deleted it from my gallery, but on my TikTok you can see it. I posted this trade. This is not an insight trading that, okay, maybe I just want to see if it will play out. You can see I played this trade and it went accordingly. Then you know that I'm doing a monthly challenge on synthetic indices, that's on Derive and on the May Forex account on demo, as you can see it. So these are the trades I've taken so far on the Forex account, and you can see the EURUSD. I'm just taking 1% per trade, and this EURUSD has already given us $1,128. I have some other losses here, you can see it, but overall this month alone I've been able to make $996. That's about 10% of the $10,000 that was deposited on the demo account. This is just to show that this particular strategy, it works effectively. All you have to do is to spend more time on the chart, practice, and you make more profit. So that is it. Thank you.